Have you ever fallen face down in art or living? I know, I have too. But the good news is you can always get up again. So we're really moving in to the time of the heart. But I guess you could say it's always been the time for the heart. But I'd like to say higher heart of awareness, or they say it that way. When I say they, it's just everything that's with me. The soul is vast and varied and, multidimensional, multi-layered. Creation's dreaming calls us all into the center of being in order to find clear seeing, but seeing is often internal. We learn to see in the dark and find that heart spark and open wider to what's possible, and that means looking at every single aspect within ourselves. That reflection starts to mirror the divine dance of creation. But sometimes destruction happens in the process as well. So I thought I would talk about the time of the heart, and as I paint over this ugly painting, this is a good illustration of, I said, what the hell did I do? You ever have one of those moments in art or living? Guess what? We can always start again, and that's what I'm gonna do here. And as I talk about what I was just talking about in the beginning, right? The time of the heart, and how art making can really help us open to more internal spaces and places. And when we're using it as the process, right? That's really important to say. There's a few ways to look at it. It is, yes, a product that we sell in the end, if we want to, right? Some people don't even desire that direction. When we're gonna do it all, it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Sometimes a lot of tears too. It isn't easy. That's the reality. Sometimes things try to tell you otherwise, but when you're really in there and doing the work daily, yearly, you'll start to see that it's not the easiest path. But life isn't the easiest path either. And when we open up to more, it's a process. And sometimes we can't really go fast. Even things will try to take us there faster, but it's like maybe too much. And if you're like me, extremely sensitive and pick up on a lot of energy, and you need more time in that like beginning part, the intimate understanding of what it means to look inside internally. And that's what I've come to find over the years, and through my energetic and shamanic practices, I started to weave and bridge these internal understandings more and more and more. But when I was first returning to art making, I was going through a huge spiritual awakening, and I had a huge breakdown at a spiritual retreat in 2017, the fall of 2017, and art making was really coming back in 2015. It's important to say this because, the crack starts to form, and it doesn't happen overnight, all of these things, and depending on the lives we've lived, we could be, shown something and we could ignore it, or we can be afraid to enter deeper into the moment, right? So, I was unraveling and awakening, and 2015 to 2018 was a really hard time spiritually. I was emerging in myself. If you've ever had a spiritual emergence, a splitting of yourself, which is a real thing, I just want to say that it's not a diagnosis, it's a way of being. That's the way we open more to our soul. Oftentimes these things will be labeled as such. I just want to like say that from my shamanic understanding and point of view, we can grow a soul and live through the shattering, and it's an energetics thing, and it's a life thing, and we don't talk about the initiations of life, because everything is trying to be neatly compartmentalized into these little definitions and boxes, and how do we define this? And then that must be the answer, right? It's not that simple. Just like in artworks, it's not that simple. I want to talk about this because 7 years ago, I couldn't talk about it because I was trying to run away from it again. I don't know if you've ever tried to run away from something or yourself, or, you know, it just makes it harder. And what I was really doing is throwing myself into the artworks at the time. And I was like, I'm not gonna pursue any of the spiritual stuff because, you know, I had what I was calling a negative experience, an experience that rocked my world. So I was trying to go, no, this isn't for me, take it back, you know. And I threw myself into the art making. But here's the moral of this story. The more I made the artworks, you can't take the art out of the artist. I always say that. You're gonna find that you're naturally drawn to your expression, because the deeper you get in the artwork and the closer you get to yourself, the more intimate that you get. You're just like, this is who I am. Yeah, crashing down and everything. And that can happen too, and not just in art, but in life. But the good news is you can always like pick it back up, like I said, and come back into the moment. So it's really important to understand that the journey is vast and varied, and I have an energetics and shamanic perspective because that's been my path. You know, the initiation into life and this understanding was very young, but I wouldn't understand it at the time. But I have more understanding now as I look back, right? They always say hindsight is 20/20, and it's true. So the question is, how do you want to show up, and what are you hiding from? So how do we get clear, like, this is what I really desire, not just for my artwork, but I want to express this forward, and I don't want to push it away anymore. I want to bring it in fully and express all of me in the process, not just the artworks. So how do you learn to face yourself is the question, and that's a great entryway into my program that starts January 2025. It's called FACE, Forge Ahead, Create Every Day is an acronym, but it's not just about art making, and it's not just about like showing up every day to the process, but it's about how do we open more to internal places and spaces and have awareness and open our heart wider and let down some of our fears. And show up to what we want to express. You know, it could happen in a painting, but maybe you're a writer or another creative, or maybe you're not just, maybe you don't want to be a full-fledged, full-time artist, but you want to get that intimate and direct connection with the self. So FACE is a program that works on multiple layers and levels, because that's how I am as a person and an artist, with this understanding, the energetics and the shamanic, and the heart-opening spaces, how we get closer to our own personal truths and show up fully in the moment. Because for a long time I was afraid to even make a video. So I know what it's like to be in fear of myself, fear of the rejection, fear of the acceptance, you know, and I've been working really hard to break through all of that. So I bring that understanding to not only like the art making teaching, but like the life expressions, right? I've been on all these sides, and of course I'm still in the middle of my own thing with my own growth expansion happening now. So it's not like I know it all. I'm still learning as much as you, but I have been over some mountains, and that's what gives me the wisdom and the wherewithal to be here now and to create this program. It's taken time, right, to come into view, just like an artworks can really take time to come into view. What I have to say is, in the face program, we'll be making a lot of exercises in different kinds of ways, and we'll be thinking about what it means to build a body of work. There's a layered way of looking at all of this stuff. When we work more in an experimental and expressive way with non-representational drawing, we access more energy and emotion, and this is of course going to be over time. So basically, face is a tool that is everlasting because once you start to see how the process really can open you and learn to separate it out from the product, you'll always stay in your art practice, or you'll always be able to come to the process of the creativity, realizing that it's part of the meditation and the spiritual and energetic and emotional practice, because we can always go deeper in those moments. Yet, if we desire the other things, like the product, there's a lengthy time of coming to find ourselves in the process. When we immerse ourselves in the process in an experimental and expressive way and open up to more intuition, we'll find that over time we'll be able to enter into the product in a different kind of way, and we're looking at it differently. We're taking the process and pulling it into the experience. And I also know that creating a product, this layered work, is taking more time and more thinking, and when we stay in the art practice, by doing the process experiments and looking deeper within, getting more intimate and emotional, we can really define it for ourselves. This is what I really want to say, and I'm gonna say it. But there will be consequences in that choice. So we have to get stronger in ourselves in order to stay committed to our practice and not quit, right? So then we do this kind of mark. It's like second nature. There's no hesitation, we just dive in, and that's exciting because then you're really operating from this deeper wellspring inside of yourself. Dive deeper, and also to realize that painting was pretty ugly and just admit it, right? I think sometimes we don't want to get it wrong, or we think it has to be perfect, or we think we're never gonna make a mistake, and we know that's not true in art or living. If you've been living, I'm sure you've made mistakes. I know I have. And the thing is, you can always return again, and this is what the heart teaches us. And when we pay attention and we get internal and we stop thinking about all the external stuff, and we get more resilient, and we're able to show up to the moment just the way we want to, just the way we are, and find the resonance, right? And that's important, because not everyone's gonna like our work, not everyone's gonna like us, and that's hard, I know. And if you're sensitive and shy and had a lot of traumas in the past and tend to shut down to the experience, it's harder to sometimes come online and get stronger in the artworks, because we're just dealing with the emotional stuff. But when we can look at the emotional stuff and realize it's an energy, and even utilize some of the quote more negative emotions as an entryway into the artworks, we can really come online and define it for ourselves, and that's really important. So this is where I'm gonna leave this 36 inch by 24 inch on canvas. We went around the block a little bit with that. It needs time now to rest again. That's just the way I work in these longer, layered, larger paintings. So when we get closer to the heart of the matter and learn to open up wider, we come into more of our fullest expression, not just in art but in living, and we stop hiding. And just want to say it's been a little bit over a year since I've been here on YouTube, and we want to thank everyone for your support in all your many ways. And there is a little sale on my courses, including the 8-week FACE program. Just check the comments below, and the smaller classes are considerably marked down until Sunday. All the classes are marked till Sunday, December 1st, for like a special deal. And also there's still works on paper available, you know, for my 100 days. Original art makes a great gift to your friends and family, or to yourself, really. Come on, if you want to treat yourself, $100 for an 18 inch by 12 inch original work on paper. And I'm not gonna quit over here, so one day maybe that will 10 times your investment. Who knows? You never know what's gonna happen in art or living. Just stay open, stay tuned, and just keep going. Thank you for being here.